Welcome to MLSnet.com's Extra Time. I'm Greg Lawless alongside Shep Messing, and huge week in MLS this past week with the All Star game. There were lots of announcements made. Blanco makes his debut in Chicago. I heard David Beckham or something in LA, I'm not really sure. And a couple of really good games over the weekend as well. We're going to get to all that, and we're going to talk to Dominic Kinnear, the coach of Houston Dynamo. But first, we've got to talk about the huge announcement that came out at the All Star game last week. San Jose is back, and they're going to be in the league starting next year.
Greg, the sports doctor, Dr. Lawless, I absolutely love it. And I think San Jose, one of those franchises that a lot of soccer fans across the nation, not just in the Bay Area, are very sad to see them go. We've heard lots of rumors about expansion. This one is real, and I think that's a great move to have a franchise back there.
It should be great. I hear some stories that they're going to be barnstorming around Northern California. Now, one question that this brings up, though, is depth. I mean, does MLS have the depth? They just brought in Toronto last year. Does the league and does the country, let's say, have the depth to support another team on the field?
Well, I think there are a couple of components. First of all, it's all about money, right? So spend a little more money,
right.
Maybe add an extra foreign senior international, and that will help when it comes to talent. But it is all about money. Maybe time to start bringing back some of our guys from Europe.
Well, we were talking about that earlier. I think, it might be time to bring back, a Clint Dempsey, a DeMarcus Beasley. If they're not getting time over there, bring them back into this league, see what they can do back here, but pay them like they should be paid.
Yeah, I love the way the league is doing this year. I think this has been the best year in the last 5 or 6 years. I think it's time. Put your foot to the pedal if you're Major League Soccer. Spend
Go for it, right?
More. Yeah, bring the guys back.
Yeah, well, there was certainly some foot down in the pedal in Chicago this past weekend. Blanco, the big signing for the Fire. He came in. It was his big debut. Just coming off the hype for Beckham, where Beckham only played, 12 minutes against Chelsea, and the Galaxy lost. Go to Chicago the very next day, and Blanco comes in, and God, the guy's a star.
I got to tell you, Greg, and I'll eat crow because this was one of the DP signings that I criticized. I said he was too old, he's got bad knees, he's got a bad attitude.
Well, but see, it's that attitude that I really like, I think.
Well, he's got that fire. I just
right.
want to see him do it consistently. Wherever he's been, he self-destructs, but I'm giving him props. He played great. He looks superb, and he's got that fire you're talking about.
And he got that goal. I mean, I've had some comments with some people coming around, and I really think he's going to score goals. He's got the competitiveness that I think other foreigners that have come into the league, like a Peter Novak, especially in Chicago, let's talk about that. He's got a competitiveness that I think is really going to drive him through and get some goals for that team.
Well, I think the timing of Juan Carlos Osorio is going to be great for Blanco. He knows how to handle that mentality, and I just hope it continues.
Well, that's going to be the question right now in Chicago, especially. What else can they bring in? There's a rumor out there that Paulo Wanchope might be coming in. He's an old boy of Juan Carlos Osario's from Manchester City. So Chicago's going to have to do some upgrades all around the board, actually, to help Blanco have some teams, I think.
Well, they're in a hole for sure, Chicago, but they've been, ridden with injuries, key injuries all year. Blanco is the type of player that can make the players around him better. He's got that skill on the ball. He's got the vision. So Chicago's got a huge mountain to climb, but I think they have the pieces in place.
Well, one of the questions that comes up now with Blanco coming into the league, Beckham coming into the league, there's a lot of hype around sort of individual players. But this past weekend, we also saw some incredible performances from teams. And the teams I keep thinking of are New England and Houston. I mean, they put in an incredible game on Sunday. It was 3-3, lots of goals. Dwayne De Rosario scored a stunner. And, there's something to be said for continuity that comes out of a full team that's been together. It's not based on one player.
Well, I think you're right. And we might have talked about it before. I used to think players win championships. I really think it's organizations. And you look at Houston, when they were in San Jose, moved to Houston, same for New England. They have stability at the top, and it's really showing on the field. Those two teams, and we predicted it pretty early, they look tremendous.
Yeah, they do. And you look at the continuity, they have great core players that they've had for a while in New England with Shari Joseph and Taylor Twellman and Pat Noonan. In Houston with Brian Ching and that whole defensive line, they've been together. And there's something to be said for continuity that might be even better than the hype of a Beckham. So I'm joined now by head coach for the Houston Dynamo, Dominic Kinnear. Dominic, thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me on, Greg.
Great. It's great to have you. Now, you guys are on a roll. 11-game unbeaten streak. You went up to New England, 3-3 draw. You probably should have gotten the win, actually, with the lead. What's been the key so far in this run?
Well, I think the goals are getting spread out, Greg. We're at the beginning. Chingy and Dwayne were kind of scoring the goals. Now we're getting goals from everywhere. Joseph has been a good spark offensively for us. And then you look at Stuart Holden. He's come in, Brad, with his couple of goals. So I think the trades that we've made this year, Greg, have been very productive for us with Richard and Nate and obviously Joe with his offensive push. So and team defending's been great. We've had this streak the whole time, so I think when you don't get scored on, you always give yourself a chance to win. So I think everything's just been clicking at the right time here. It's been a fun 2 months for us.
Well, I mean, you had that great run, almost like more than 8 hours without being scored on. Talk about the back four a little bit. There seems to be a great continuity and an understanding about those four. Talk about them a little bit.
Well, during this run, Greg, I mean, the one constant has been Wade at left back. Wade's been not too many people talk about him because he just kind of goes about his job and does it very effortlessly. So he's been great. I think Eddie and Ryan and also Pat Ianni, Eddie Robinson, they've been great holding the middle together. We've had some suspensions and some injuries. They've all been given a chance to play, and they've done good. And Craig at right back has been very solid. When called upon, Zach in the games he's played and Pat have been excellent.
Now, the news came out last week that San Jose has a new team. It's your home country up there. What are your thoughts on that team coming in?
I think it's great. First, I was really sad from a couple of points of view. Because, first of all, I was coaching the team. I didn't want to leave the area. Yeah. Secondly, I'm from there, and I love having a team for my family and my friends. We can go watch a team play. And I think it's a great area just for soccer. So I'm happy that it's happening again. Super happy that MLS has moved back into the area. And I know the fans are happy as well.
Now, any rumors that you might be going back there?
Well, you just started one right there.
Well, Dominic Kinnear, head coach for the Houston Dynamo, man, you guys are on a great roll. Thank you very much for joining us here on Extra Time.
Hey, Greg, anytime. I love it.
Right.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you later on.
Okay, see ya.
So if you have any thoughts on Houston's run or San Jose or anything, you can email us at extratime@mlsnet.com. Well, I said us. Maybe next time Shep will last through the entire show. Unfortunately, that's all we have for this week. Join me. Shep will be here next week. We'll kick it around again.